Okay, I think we are live. Welcome everybody to the Node.js Technical Steering Committee member meeting. Before start, does anybody have any announcement?
Yes, Node 22.11.0 was released yesterday, and that marks Node 22 becoming a long-term support release. So um, that will last until 2027, April 2027. So yeah, if you are uh, waiting for long-term support, Node 22 is now a long-term support release.
Very good, amazing. Any other announcement? Okay, as a reminder, remember to nominate people for the contributor spotlight. And I think the usual workflow is to go for CPC and board meeting updates. Does anybody have any feedback on that? No? So we can move it
We'll
on.
probably need to wait for Matteo if he turns up.
Okay. Uh, Node.js node, file path is on Legator. The issue 55538. I think this is a problem that happened, and Matteo included to the TSC just for awareness, right? Yeah, I think we can wait this one for when he join. Um, the next one is okay, it's another one that he included. Is from Node.js, Node.js.org, add strings guide. Um, this is about including some links to company blog posts in our nodejs.org website. And Matteo included the label to bring attention to that. If we are, what is our, what do we think about that? I particularly don't have any opinion. I don't object, but I'm not a strong supporter.
So do we need to do anything about this or not?
I think possibly he'll get more. Matteo has more thoughts about that would like to get some answers or just bring a different perspective of this issue. Particularly don't have much context. So if someone has, just um, is there any issue exactly that we have something to discuss here?
For this file getter, you mean?
I mean, for the whole agenda, because we have some issues that are flagged at TSC agenda, but we have discussed it previously in previous meetings, and nothing has changed since then, I guess.
Yeah, I added the Coverity membership one, so I can talk about that one if we want to go to that
Okay,
one.
yeah, we can go that. Is
Okay.
to the JS admin, right?
Yeah. So
Yes.
uh, yeah, the 925 in the admin repo. So this is a long-standing, this is a sort of anomaly in the part of the collaborator offboarding process is that there's an item to raise an issue in the build repo asking for whoever is being, whoever is being offboarded from being a collaborator to remove them from Coverity if they were ever added. Now, the anomaly here is that the only reason that the build repo or the build working group has ownership of the Coverity project is in order to, so for those who don't know, Coverity is a static analysis code scanning tool, and we have a daily job that runs against the main branch. It runs some tooling from Coverity and then submits the results to the web to the as a service, and the service then goes away and analyzes that and comes back with like, here are the things that the static analysis has found. So in order for us to run that tooling, we need to have that permission to get to be able to download the tool in the first place. So that's the reason that Build has had the sort of owner bit on that project. I don't think Build needs to be the only owner. So there's a small handful of owners. It's a little bit bigger because I added one or two. I would kind of like to just say, the TSC, given that they have a general ownership of things in the project, should be should be owners of the project in Coverity. Not necessarily every single one, but they're sort of like, as TSC people are onboarded, they should be given the option of having that ownership bit, and then any TSC member who wants the ownership could be given that. Unfortunately, I think you can log in with a GitHub ID, but the access isn't governed by any GitHub ACLs. So it's individual invites into the project on the tool side to get people in. But I would just really like to expand the number of people that can maintain the account, because it doesn't seem scalable to rely on a small number of build people every time we change like collaborator membership to take people in and out of Coverity, because that's more of an admin sort of role. So I'm thinking either the TSC as the ultimate owners of everything, or if people decide that because it's related to security, maybe it should be the working group that controls access to those things. Because essentially, if you have access to the project, you get to see the static analysis results, and then it's debatable. And there's a lot of false positives. I think that the static analysis finds, but then equally, the static analysis may find something that could lead to a potential exploit. It's all theoretical, but I think the main thing here is that if there's something in the process that's saying open an issue and build, just to check if someone has access, and then if they have access, take them out. That feels that that should be something that whoever's doing the offboarding exercise should be able to do for themselves, in my opinion. So yeah, this is kind of my suggestion, is to open it up to TSC members, and this is just to see if there's any objections to that or other ideas, or along those lines. And if there is an agreement that the TSC should be the owners of this, in addition to build for the reason of being able to get the tooling, then I'd be happy to the people that want to be added there get added, as long as they're on the TSC, obviously. So yeah, that was my that's the reason I added that, both for awareness, to see if there was any feedback.
I think for me it's totally fine to include TSC. I just wanted to ask if adding access to, for instance, security working group members does expose any kind of to any kind of sensitive file or something, because I believe that anyone can basically fork the main branch of Node.js and run a static analysis and it won't leak anything, right? Like it's all public information.
I believe so. I mean, the trick for running this particular one is you need an account with Coverity, which is not. I think you can get it if you're an open source project, but I think it's a bit harder if you're not. I mean, yeah, in theory, if you have access to a scanning tool, you can run the scanning tool on the public project. So, yeah, yeah, I probably not. I mean, probably anything would be just how cautious you want to be, and yeah. So yeah, that was just my thinking.
Yeah, I
That
think
yeah.
I believe it would be great to include the active security working group members to that
I
CI
mean,
also, that we can
there's
track
given
their
that
behaviors.
this particular thing is on ownership as to who can take people in and out of the project on
Okay,
Coverity.
so yeah, TSC.
So that's why I'm suggesting TSC. That doesn't mean that people added to the project. So you can have different roles. You can have like a read-only role or a maintainer role, and this is specifically for the maintainer role, because at the moment the number of people that can add or remove people is small. I would prefer if it was bigger. Um, so I think, from my point of view, I prefer if the policy was that TSC members can become owners or maintainers in that project, and then we can still add people on like a read-only basis if they're not like a TSC member, and we think they should have access to the thing to look at the results or even investigate the results. But that I think is a separate thing. Actual general access. I think we say in the collaborator onboarding that you can actually ask for access, which again might be at the moment raise an issue in the build repo. But again, I would like it if it's possible then that the people doing the onboarding for collaborators or offboarding have the ability to do all the steps on the document as far as possible. And yeah, this particular thing, the anomaly of build having that maintainer role in the project is a byproduct of what we needed in order to get the download tool. It's not necessarily because build wants to be the arbiter of who has access to the project, because it's sort of outside of build's remit in terms of what the working group is supposed to be doing. It is in terms of it's running the build tool, so it needs access to it to get the do it tool onto the CI systems and run it. But the actual investigation of issues and triaging thing, I think, is more of a more general project responsibility rather than something specific to the build working group.
Yeah, that makes sense for me. Does anybody have any objections on including TSC as owners? I don't think so. But yeah, we can proceed with that.
Okay.
I will just remove the TSC agenda.
Yeah, no problem.
Um, the next issue following the workflow is the draft statement of work for task flakiness lead, but I took a look and we don't have any updates since last meeting, right? Actually, Michael commented, but he's not here to.
Yeah, I think the statement is shaping up in a
Okay.
good way. I'm not sure if it is finalized, but we have multiple reviews and it's looking good now. I suggest Michael come back and take a decision on that.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yep.
And basically, let's talk about the CI situation issue. It's all about it too, right?
Yeah, I think that one is just waiting on the statement of work, and then once that's agreed, sending that out for as a tender to get people to apply for that role.
Okay. Next one is the Node.js Next 10 Ambassador Program. Marco, do you have any update on that? I think Michael is the one that added.
Yeah, I did the onboarding of Liran last week. So the next step is to provide the ambassadors a list of topics that we would like to publicize for the projects. And yeah, that's it. Then we have to onboard another ambassador, which I will not disclose yet. And I think in terms of marketing, we need to publicize this initiative.
Okay. I've just spoken with Matteo and he won't be able to join. He lost the invite and had a conflicting meeting, I guess. The next one is Node.js package examples repository. I think Joy.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think
Yep.
you added that issue just for visibility, right?
Yeah, and also since we were speaking about the ambassador program, I think maybe this can be one of the topics of the creating new content for how to ship packages. Now that you can ship ESM without breaking CommonJS. But yeah, there is a to-do list I drafted, and I'm not sure whether that's enough. The idea is to like try to get a list of things, like items that we can, work on to kind of update the information out there on the internet about assumptions of how CJS and ESM can interact with each other, because for now still when you try to Google like like anything about CommonJS and ES interrupt, it kind of gives a lot of outdated information. So this is like a list of things that we can look into to get more people involved to kind of update what's out there on the internet.
Mhm.
And there is also a proposal to start a team. I don't currently have a lot of ideas about how we are going to kind of recruit this team. I suppose it will be very useful if we have authors of bundlers involved, because previously I think I was trying to reach out to like I was trying to find a venue where I can get feedback from different bundlers, because they re-implement the no resolution rules. So we don't want to step on their toes or having mismatched expectations about how certain things are supposed to work. And I think the message I got the last time was that there actually wasn't any venue like that. People usually just go to each other's issue tracker to to get a bunch of bundler authors together to discuss how certain things should behave for bundling code for Node. And the idea is that maybe we can start a team to have a team of like stakeholders where they can give input about how I don't know, the next generation of package shipping processes practices should look like. So if you have any input about this or anything else that need to be done, please comment in that thread. I expect that we'll use there is an CJS ESM interrupt session at the Collaboration Summit. So I'll probably also use that to kind of brainstorm a bit before maybe reach out to the social team to get more people kind of like get the ball start rolling. Yeah, that's the idea. So just putting it there for visibility and to gather more ideas before we go to the coverage summit.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. I just wondering if uh, what should be the policy for the ambassador program in terms of experimental features? Should then start spreading the word, but considering the experimental feature, things can change and tutorials can be broken in a few months. But I think that's up to another issue or another discussion.
Yeah, I guess it kind of depends on how they individually think, whether it's too early to talk about certain experimental features, so whether it's already useful enough to get them involved during like the development process to try to keep them in the loop so that they understand more about how these things come to be, so that it helps them create better content. um yeah, that's the general idea.
Okay, okay. So looks like we don't have anything else on the agenda. And I just wanted you guys to stay for just 5 minutes for a quick private session. Before closing the meeting, anyone else, like any other topic we would like to bring? I think that's a no.